It's smooth, it's alcohol free, it's beery. Today we're drinking Infinite Session American Pale Ale. Hi guys, it's Jim here from drtankenstein.com with another episode of Beers of the British Isles. On today's episode, we've got a first. We've got an alcohol-free beer. We're drinking Infinite Session American Pale Ale. So, I'm not a huge alcohol-free beer drinker, but the bank holiday's over now, so we've got to move on to something else. Now, this beer retails for about £1.30, which is, much cheaper than a boozy beer, I guess. So, if nothing else, maybe go for it for that. But you can get this sells at Tesco, at Amazon, and other online retailers. You can get 4 packs. You can get 24 packs of this stuff, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, you can't get 24 packs of other craft beers. We do weirdly have a lot of stats on this beer because the brewery are very proud of it. Now, the first stat that we have is that it's 0.5% alcohol. This is considered a de-alcoholized beer, or I think a low alcohol beer rather than a no alcohol beer. There are a lot of terms, and I'm just kind of translating them. So this is not a no alcohol beer, it's a de-alcoholized beer. But plastered everywhere is that plastered everywhere? I don't know if you drink this beer. Plastered everywhere is that 0.5% alcohol does not have any physiological effect. That seems to be what they're suggesting, is that you have no physiological effect from the alcohol in this beer. I guess drinking 330 mils of a 0.5 alcohol beer, it just dilutes everything to the point where you can't really feel it anymore. So the first one, alcohol, 0.5%. Second one is that it's 36 calories. Yeah. I guess they put that one on there just to try and guilt you into drinking a day. I mean, no, I'm joking, but I mean, 36 calories is much fewer calories than any beer I drink on a regular basis. So good on them. Put that up high. If calories are what you're interested in, then this one might be a winner. The final stat that we have is that it's 35 IBUs. I don't know why. I just kind of thought, yep, alcohol-free beer. Let's just look at the ABV. Yep, it's low, good. I never even thought of the IBUs in this thing. I mean, the way that one of the ways they make alcohol-free beer is to brew a batch of alcohol-containing beer and remove the alcohol. So I guess that bitterness to sugar ratio that I was talking about would probably still count for alcohol-free beers. I don't know, I'm kind of in uncharted waters here. But they do use some pretty mighty hops in this thing. We're talking Simcoe, Citra, and Mosaic hops. Now those are top shelf hops. So, those 35 IBUs, even if they ain't working hard, it's kind of lining up to be a really nice beer. The other stats, I guess you have, if you can call this a stat, is that it's 6 grain, which means that they've really taken some care into the malt bill. Now, this being an alcohol-free beer, you would imagine that the malt bill would actually be the most important part. Well, the most important part towards not making a shit beer, I guess, because the malt bill is really where the fine tuning has to come in. So I'm imagining this beer has a lot of flaked grains or oats, things like that. Things that don't contribute a lot of sugar and therefore alcohol, but do contribute a lot of flavor and body. Yeah, this one's an interesting one. So let's find out what it tastes like. Okay, the de-alcoholized beer has been decanned and it's now in the glass. The first thing I'll say is that it looks like beer. It looks like beer. Really nice and clear. Obviously frosty glass because it's cold. But yeah, it looks nicely carbonated. I mean, you can almost, you just flick it and it foams up. Good head retention, which is a good sign, I think. Good head retention is a good sign because it means there's real ingredients in there, basically. Colour, American Pale Ale, yeah, kind of in the range. Maybe a little bit on the light side for what I would have thought. I would have thought maybe they would have used kind of dark crystal malts in this a little bit more just to get the sweetness up. But there you go. It's kind of it's frosting up. Yeah, kind of a deep yellow. Let's say that. Aroma. Okay, it's a very subtle aroma. It's a very subtle mango-y aroma, I would say. Yeah, I'm having to work hard to get to it, so that's probably not a good sign for the aroma. But it is a pale ale, so it doesn't have to be. Yeah, it doesn't have to knock your socks off with the aroma. But if anything, I would say, yeah, kind of a mango-y aroma, if anything. Okay, it's better after you know what you're looking for. The second taste I had was better than the first. On first glance, and I will correct this, if I change my mind at any point, I'll correct this, but it does seem quite watery. I'm not sure the carbonation that I was praising a minute ago, I'm not sure that's helping this, to be honest, because it makes it seem a little bit thinner. It's quite thin bodied, not super flavorful. Yeah, not super flavorful, but you can kind of you can almost taste mosaic in there. The bitterness is, I mean, for me, the bitterness is non-existent. I hate to hate, but it has no bitterness, and I wonder, I'm going back to this again, I wonder whether that's because of the carbonation. I know carbonation doesn't knock bitterness out, but carbonation does make something slightly sour, so maybe I'm focusing on the carbonation rather than the bitterness. I don't know. Aroma, slight mango. Flavor, you can almost get a tropical hop flavor from it, I guess. Yeah, it tastes like there was it tastes like there was once beer in this glass. Infinite Session Brewery. They're a brewery dedicated to alcohol-free beer, which I think is cool. These things are sprouting up. They're becoming more and more common now because people don't want to get sloshed all the time. I mean, it's kind of this weird thing where beers seem to be getting stronger, and so kind of to combat that, alcohol-free beers are getting more prevalent, which I think is good. But if you thought that them being an alcohol-free brewery was bad, they're based in London. I'm just kidding. I think they were formed in 2018. I can't quite get much information about the brewery. I think that the brewery seemed to want to put their product before the brewery, if that makes sense. So they'd rather sing the praises of the beer rather than take up space talking about themselves, which seems, it's kind of admirable. I guess they believe in the product, which is good. What I will say about their use of space to describe their products is they massively overuse the AF kind of thing. AF is like as fuck, drunk as fuck. So AF is kind of overused, obviously alcohol free. I think they overuse it, to be honest. It's everywhere, not quite in the right context for me, but that's fine. But it's beer without the booze, and they seem to believe in their product, and I think it's very admirable and a cool thing, in fact, because if you can go out and drink a good beer and not get drunk, then why wouldn't you do that? What do I reckon? How do I sum up Infinite Session American Pale Ale? It looks like beer. It certainly looks like beer. It actually looks like a good beer. There's very little flavour to it. But, I mean, the thing is here is these guys, I'm gonna tell you the lens that I'm judging this through. These guys don't need to make a drink that's better than your favorite drink. They just need to make a nice drink, something that's nice to drink. So what we have here is a pale yellow liquid with a head on it that looks like a beer, that's nice and carbonated, and there's a little bit of hop aroma to it, there's a little bit of hop flavour to it. It's by no means an American Pale Ale. And I don't know enough about the scene, the alcohol-free scene, to know if they've done a good job, unfortunately. So in that realm, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that if this beer were a song, it would be Low by Flow Rider. Because it's low alcohol. And I don't know enough about that song either, but people seem to like it. And it gets them through a night out. So that's my song choice for this episode. If you're interested in alcohol-free beer and you know more about it, go grab an Infinite Session American Pale Ale and let me know what you think, because I'm still sort of learning about this. Let me know what you think of it, and then maybe I'll make my mind up on a later date. In the meantime, maybe head down to your local bottle shop, see if they have any alcohol-free beers. Maybe they even stock Infinite Session. Until then, guys, cheers.